Hey guys, I'm excited to talk to you today. I wanted to share some of my thoughts about this season of itineration, support raising in the midst of the coronavirus, everything that we're facing right now. There's so much to be said. First thing I want to say is, well, let me back up. First off, I want to denote that most of what I'm going to share is mostly pertaining to individuals. That's friends and family members, those that you already know, love, and trust that are in your life that you will be asking for support, okay? So just note that as I go through some of these tips, some of these things I want to share in this video. So number one thing that I want you to note in this season of the coronavirus in support raising is the resources that are available to you. My blog, JennFortner.com, is available, and I have a lot of blog posts that I've done since March and the beginning of all of this that I think you're going to find really helpful. And a lot of those blog posts are going to expand on the ideas that I'm going to share with you now. So make sure to check that, subscribe, and not just for my own benefit, but seriously for yours, and check back for updates on a regular basis. And then also, Mobilization has a Facebook page. It's AGWM Mobilization, and you'll be able to find that, and make sure that you check that and on a regular basis for updates, because they're going to give you a lot of resources, a lot of information, etc. I also have a Facebook page. You can find me on Jenn Fortner FPD is where you find it. And you guys, you will just find my brain on Facebook there, where I am posting everything that I'm seeing from other ministries, blog posts that I'm doing, other things that I'm picking up along the way during the season that I think you're going to find super helpful. So make sure to mark those resources and check back on a regular basis. Okay, number two, things that you should be thinking about right now in the midst of the coronavirus is what looks different right now. It is not business as usual in some ways as it relates to reaching out to individuals on a regular basis. And what looks different right now, one of the things is your contact list may look different right now, okay? So the people that were on your A list, the people that you were absolutely gonna reach out to 100% first, may not be the people that you reach out to right now as it relates. You've got to think critically of where people are at financially, and all of those things apply. However, saying that, I don't want to make you think, oh, I can't reach out to the people and I've got to be super cautious to the tune of not reaching out to anyone at all. But I want you to think through critically your contact list, and you might be switching things up based off of things that you know about what's going on with people, et cetera, et cetera. And then also, now that we're kind of in the midst of still doing some Zoom appointments as opposed to face-to-face appointments, you may be thinking of people that you were already going to ask for a Skype or a Zoom appointment anyway because of distance. So that's the first thing, is your contact list. The second thing is comfort levels. Everybody has different comfort levels based off of where your city is at with stay-at-home orders, if they've lifted them, and you may be one of those people that are thinking right now, oh my goodness, I can't wait to meet face-to-face with individuals and have a real coffee shop type of experience. However, I want to make sure to tell you to, whenever you're reaching out to individuals, to find out what they're comfortable with, and do not assume that it's the same comfort level that you have. So all of those things are on the table with Zoom appointments, face-to-face appointments, maybe porch distance, social distance hangs, that kind of thing. And you want to make sure to take care to do that. There's a whole blog post that I have on JennFortner.com about those as well. The third thing is the first question that you should be asking to individuals is, hey, how are you doing in the midst of this season? So you're making a phone call, asking for an appointment. The first things first, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with you? How are you doing in the midst of the coronavirus? And then from there, you can gauge on the phone whether or not it's appropriate to ask for an appointment at that time. If they say to you, oh my goodness, Jenn, I'm not doing well, just lost my job, these kind of things are happening, it's been a really bummer of a time, then you may say exactly why you were calling and let them know that, but then ask if you can circle back with them at a later time. Or if they say to you, you ask how they're doing, and they say, I'm doing great, I'm living my best life, everything's going great, I was an introvert anyway, all the social distance stuff doesn't bother me. If that's what they're saying, then you go ahead and proceed and ask for that appointment, and ask what makes them comfortable. If it's a social distance porch hang, or actually face-to-face, or doing a Zoom appointment. And last thing that's really happening right now, and something that's a little different, is so many people are online right now. So make sure that you're reaching out to people, seeing who's on Facebook, who's, and make sure that you're making that a relational connect on a regular basis. And you might consider doing things like Facebook Live Q&As, where you're doing some sort of engagement that way on your secret Facebook group or your group, however it is that you did that based off of your sensitivity. So stay online, stay engaged, and those are some of the things that may look different right now. Okay, so number 3, here's some things that look the same, that have not changed just because the coronavirus is in place. And the first one is this: you guys, your calling has not changed. God knows the time and the seasons. He knew that you were going to be called in the midst of this, and he is still on the throne. So remind yourself constantly of your calling, of your vision during this season, and remember that God has called you for this time and this place, and he knew that this was going to happen. So hang in there, realize that God knows. And then another thing that stays the same during this time is face-to-face appointments, Zoom appointments, those type of relational things with individuals. That's still happening right now. So don't go rogue and think that there's a better way to do it, like a bunch of t-shirt sales or whatever it is. Your best bet is still reaching out to individuals in a relational way via face-to-face appointments, whether that looks like Zoom, social distance, porch hangs, that kind of thing. And lastly, guys, what stays the same is your ministry really does start now. It doesn't start when you get to the field. It doesn't start when you feel like it. But your ministry right now, as you reach out to people in the body of Christ to be a part of the Great Commission through giving, that is ministry. That starts now. That doesn't start later. So remember that in this season, that is so important, and your ministry is golden in this season. And number 4, some of the things that you need to be doing right now or thinking about in the midst of the coronavirus is, if you have not done a newsletter anytime recently since the pandemic started, please get one together and share one soon. And stave off those doubts that maybe your partners have. I've been seeing as a coach very often and frequently lately, as I've been on the phone with our missionary associates, that one of the main questions that they're getting is, are you still going to the field? Are you still called? What's happening? And I think the one thing that you can do to hit that off at the pass is make sure that you are reassuring people through your newsletters that you are still called, that you are still excited about ministry, and you're feeling your calling now more than ever. So make sure that that's in place. And then also, what some things to do right now: don't sit still. It's time to get up. It's time to ask for appointments. It's time to reach out to individuals. I know a lot of you have been timid in this season, and it's understandable. And some of you have been thrown into this for the very first rookie season, and you're going, I don't know how I should proceed. But I'm saying to you, Zoom appointments, face-to-face appointments, all of those things are working right now. As it relates, and I've been seeing even more in the last several weeks as time has gone on, that people are adding to their partnership bases on a regular basis. So don't be timid to reach out to those individuals. It's not time to sit still. It's time to move forward. Make sure that you're doing that. As well as make sure that in this time you're still reaching out to people relationally, whether that's for an appointment or just because. Make sure that you're keeping ministry minded, appointments, but also just reaching out to people in spaces like online, text messages, phone calls, just seeing how people are doing. A lot of times people are going to remember the times that you just reached out, much more than they're going to remember a lot of other things that you do. And then also, make sure that you're keeping up with the resources and studying, like I said, the resources above. Make sure that you're checking those out on a regular basis, and keep your eyes on the ground as far as what's going on and the temperature and the seasons, and make sure that you're studying on a regular basis what's going on and how you can further your knowledge during this season. And lastly, keep your eyes on Jesus. He knows what's going on. He knows how to help. Discernment in your inner life with the Lord needs to be strong during this time. And you guys, I'm so thankful to be talking to you today. I hope this was encouraging and helpful. And again, you can find a lot of information from the AGWM Mobilization page as well as my blog. Thanks so much, guys.